Hey guys, what's up? What's up? What's up? I'm Ayo the Closer. Welcome back to the channel where I'm bringing you the scoop about what's happening in the housing market and getting you confidently to the closing table. So, when we were going through the pandemic, there were a lot of multiple offer situations, and a lot of times FHA buyers were looked down upon by sellers. And I want to discuss some of the reasons why that was the case. Now, in a multiple offer situation, a seller really doesn't have to negotiate. So a lot of times they see FHA financing or VA financing as a riskier loan to accept as a purchase offer for their home. Reason being that, number one, FHA loans, for whatever reason, there's a myth that FHA buyers are not as stable as conventional buyers. But this is only a myth. But it is something that keeps sellers from accepting FHA financing when it comes to multiple offer situations. Another important reason that sellers will turn away from an FHA buyer is because of the amendatory clause. Now, this amendatory clause actually applies not only to FHA loans, but it also applies to VA loans. Now, the amendatory clause protects a buyer from having to purchase a home if it does not appraise for the contract price. And this is definitely risky for a seller because an FHA buyer or a VA buyer can walk away from a deal all the way up to the day of closing because of this amendatory clause. Whereas a conventional buyer, if they decide to terminate the contract because the property does not appraise or the seller does not want to negotiate with them on reducing the price, that conventional buyer will lose their earnest money. So the seller essentially gets damage money for the buyer walking away from a deal. The other reason that sellers tend to look down on FHA financing is the 90-day rule. Now, this rule is specifically important with investors like Open Door and Zillow. A lot of times you see that they have a property that's listed for sale and they will exclude an FHA buyer. And that reason is because they have to hold on to the property for at least 90 days before they can sell it to another FHA buyer. This does not apply with conventional buyers. So this is another reason why sellers will turn away from an FHA offer. Now, the third reason is FHA mandated repairs. Now, a lot of times sellers don't want to do repairs. So if they accept an FHA offer, that offer may require that repairs be made in order for the property to be sold. And of course, sellers don't want to have to worry about repairs and they don't want anything that's going to hinder the sale of their property. So they'll turn away from an FHA buyer because of these repair requirements. And lastly, one that I think is as important as the amendatory clause, but maybe not so to some viewers. This reason is the appraisal. An FHA appraisal stays with the property for 120 days. That's right, 120 days. So what that means is if there's any type of issues with the deal and it terminates for any reason and another FHA buyer comes along, that buyer can essentially say that the property only appraised for this amount and the seller would have to honor that price. Whereas with conventional buyers, if the property appraises at a certain amount and the deal falls through for any reason, the next buyer that comes along that's a conventional buyer will have another appraisal done. So the seller is not locked into any appraisal price. If you have any questions about what I've shared to you today, please post comments and feedback in the section below. If you found this information helpful, please like, share, and subscribe. I'm Ayo the Closer. Peace.